Hello. So I need to get this out. Copy. All right. Hello. How are y'all? I'm sorry it's a mess in here. Let me cut this light off so it's not glaring. And this is okay. Hey y'all. There was no coffee chat yesterday because I was at my mom's for Labor Day, and today's my dad's birthday. So we wanted to make sure we spent time with my mom. And I hope everything works out okay. This is kind of backwards. Actually, it's not backwards because you're seeing this the way that I think it's not mirrored. Yeah, because the imagination thing looks backwards. Let's see. I want live chat. So I'm hoping. Let me go and look and see. Let's go to my dashboard. No, I don't care about competitors. I don't look at that crap. Videos. I hope that y'all are doing well. I think this is so much easier to do live when you just click on the go live button. But at the same time, I have to wonder, if there wouldn't be a better way to do this sometimes. So anyway, because that's not doing what I want. So what are we chatting about today? I actually have no topic really to talk about today. I was thinking about talking. I am making some changes with September because September is self-love. September is also the beginning of fall, and I love fall. Hey, I'm so happy to see you, Cheryl. You need to send me an email and catch me up, because I want to make better changes. Well, I want to be better at getting things together. I want to be better about how I'm doing certain things. I want to be on a better schedule because I may end up getting Victor more, and that means figuring out better routines, kind of thing. What I'm doing in September, and I did write a few things down, changes to a better self, better art, for a better routine, self-love, to feel more confident, to be more free, to be working on the things I'm really passionate about, which is my creativity. It's being creative in all different kinds of ways. And being more authentic, being more open to things that bring me joy and to spreading that joy. I'm pretty authentic. What you see is pretty much what you get. Mr. Rockstar's up. He just woke up. He's been working nights. He's off tonight. So might get kind of loud from the kitchen because I think he's cooking. What I want to do in September, I'm going to start working on some more watercolor basics, getting back to some of the basics with watercolor. I'm going to concentrate more on daily journaling. more daily watercoloring, getting outdoors more for bicycling, walking, urban sketching, plein air sketching, getting out of here more, these 4 walls, and however other many walls there are in the house. I am going to start working on my outline for NaNoWriMo, and I'm hoping to lose some more weight. I've lost a little bit of weight. I'm letting my hair grow out. Y'all don't know how tempted I was the other day when I was at Walmart to get hair coloring. Ah, great. I'm glad you're here. I'm not changing anything major. I'm just making more positive changes. So working on the things I've already been working on, just fine tuning. The only thing I've added that's new, and it isn't even quite new, is self-love. It's part of Kelly Ann Maddox does Self-Love September. There are a number of other people who do Self-Love September, but Kelly Ann Maddox's is a really great way to work on your inner stuff. And she has some really great tips, and other people do videos and do stuff like that, blog post, and post pictures to Instagram with that tag. So I've been doing self-care for a while, and self-care for me is not part of my daily practice, and it needs to be. Self-love is not part of my daily practice, and it needs to be. And one of the quotes that I wrote down in the journal that I set up for this, because I'll tell you what my biggest thing I'm going to be working on is. So this is Kelly's quote about self-love. Self-love is my daily practice. It shapes my decisions and defines my relationships. I don't apologize for it, and I honor it even when it's hard. Hello, everybody. That. There are some other things I will get to in a video. And y'all, it's a mess in here. It is truly a mess. I have been pulling things out. We are hopefully tomorrow going to be moving that desk behind me to over here where I have the dresser, and the dresser I'm going to paint the top and the sides to solid red instead of the speckled red. Hello. And we're going to put our TV in the living room on it. And we have this little tiny TV stand on wheels, and that's going to go underneath here because it looks a lot like some of those IKEA cart things, and it's on wheels, so I can store my paper in it. The paper doesn't have to go in the Roscog or the Michaels version of that cart anymore, like my copy paper, my rice paper, my fancy papers like vellum and Avery sticker paper and photo paper. So I can get that out of the way, and I can put some other things that I use, but I don't use on a daily basis. Like paper stays in my printer, and the photo paper kind of stays right beside it because it's a portion of it. But I have this mess over here, and you can see under here I have stuff, and I want to get things more organized underneath there, and I can't afford right now to go and purchase stuff to do that with. So we are, let me slide this over a little bit. There we go. So I am working on finding ways to use what I have. I've been doing the use it or lose it thing since last year, the end of the year. I think December is when I started use it or lose it. Maybe it might have even been before that. It might have even been when I had Destination Me, the group. Hello. But I've been trying to, anytime anything new comes in, anytime I get one thing new, 2 things out. One thing in, 2 things out. One thing in, 2 things out. And I haven't done that very well. So that's one of the other things. September, we're going through. We've been going through the linen closet. We've been going through closets, the coat closet. I went through, donated a bunch of stuff that we didn't use. I live in the South, in South Carolina, y'all, and I live in the what would be the Midlands. I'm from the Low Country. I'm from Charleston, but we get snow. Well, lately we've gotten snow like once a year, twice a year. A few years ago we had the snowstorm. I did videos about that, and I did watercolor, which was really weird because we don't get snow enough for me to know how to actually watercolor snow. So I had to look up online how to watercolor snow. But So part of self-love September for me is getting back into my self-care thing. I want to do a newsletter video and post about that. I haven't done the newsletter. Used to live about an hour away from Charleston. You were born and raised in Tennessee. Oh, you miss it. I love Charleston. I grew up on James Island, and I love the water. I don't care what kind of water. You move away from it, and when you move away from it for a while, back then, I hated the smell of the marsh. The brine. Oh, the marsh can stink. Whew, pluff mud. Oh, I moved away from there, and now anytime I get anywhere near the ocean, even if I smell marsh, I'm like, oh, home. It's not home to me anymore. I've lived away from Charleston for a long time now, but I do miss the water. Knoxville. I went on vacation. Me and David went to Gatlinburg, and we went to Pigeon Forge. We got a little cabin. It was a honeymoon cabin in Gatlinburg before the fires, and I loved it. I told David, if we ever move, or if we ever like build a cabin, I love the gorge in Tennessee, in North Carolina. I love all of that. I have seriously thought later on, maybe it's flat, one day getting like a little cabin kit somewhere. It's probably going to end up just happening where my mom lives, in an hour and a half from here, Southwest Florida. I lived in Jacksonville, Florida for a few years when I was married to my ex-husband. He's in the Navy. He's still there. And I like Florida. I like the beaches. But the closest we have to water out here is a little lake. I told David, I said, look, Ohio, Ohio. I love that we have people from all over. I love. Used to go there every year with your family, Gatlinburg. I went to Dollywood and all that when I was a teenager with my mom and my dad on vacation. I think I was in the 9th or 10th grade. Might have been the 10th or 11th grade. Yeah, might have been the 10th or 11th. No. I'm pretty sure it was 10th grade. I love it out there. But I love nature. I love anything and everything that's nature. But I told David, I said, my sun sign is Cancer. My rising sign is Leo. And I said, look, I've got to have some water. Next year, we need to get a pool. I don't care if it's a small pool. I need a pool. I need above ground, just a pool, nothing really expensive. I said, later on, we can get a better one. And I said, but I need a pool. Right now, I'm to the point where I don't care if it's one of those little blow up pools that me and Victor can play in. I had that not this summer, but last summer, I got one of those. I'm like, I don't care. I need a pool. So I realized that some things I love stuff like that. Pigeon Forge, and I love anything that is mountains, and I love anything that is water. Mr. Rockstar does not like water. He's very much a stay on land, Taurus, the earth kind of person. He won't go out on a cruise. He won't take a cruise with me. He knows how to swim, but he doesn't swim real well. So I guess I'm going on a cruise with some of my friends. He won't go on a cruise with me. He said he might take a dinner cruise. So we might take a dinner cruise maybe the end of this month or next month while the weather's still nice here. You hate water too? You lived in Indiana for a long time, but Florida is home. My cousin lives in Indiana, 2 miles from the Gulf. Oh, wow. Yeah. Y'all let me know if we have any weirdos in here. I'm trying to keep up with the live chat, but I can't watch everything. So, but normally I don't have too many of them, thank goodness. But I love the water. So self-care for me, I thought, well, you know what? If we don't do the pool, maybe I need to just get a membership to the Y and go swimming a few times a week next summer. I'm going to check into it and see if I can do that between now and the summer, though. maybe in the colder months, go to the Y because the pool is indoors. And I need to do more exercise. I need to get more out and about. I had shoulder issues and I had female issues, and I went through physical therapy, my shoulders. I had a hysterectomy for the female issues. And I am finally at a point where, other than the arthritis and the tendonitis, I can actually start exercising again. But you know, when you've been away from it for a long time, you have to kind of ease back into it. You can't go from walking a mile every other day to running a mile every day, you know? So I thought some of the ways that I could get back into doing more things like that is to go bicycle riding, to walk more instead of walking a mile every other day, or a mile and a half to 2 miles. Start walking a mile and a half to 2 miles every day. Just kind of easing back into, I already do stretches and, but that's part of my self-care. Hello. I'm doing well. I am doing well. But I think we get to a place sometimes where we're not sure of what is and isn't self-care. Sometimes we make self-care more about the things, like going to get a mani-pedi, or going to get our hair done, or going to the gym. And it is about some of those things. If those things are things that make you feel good about yourself, if those are things that bring you joy. For me, I've never really been a gym person. I like getting out in nature. So there's pros and cons to the pool being indoors at the Y. Going to the pool, if I find out and the price for it's not too much, I'm thinking about signing up for that next month. If the price wasn't too bad, I'm going swimming. So I get out of the house and I can do some, maybe they have, if depending on what is included in like the membership that you have to pay for to have access to the pool. I'm still checking into some things, and I thought, well, I could get out of the house more, go a few times a week, and then I thought, well, I'm going to have Victor. Right now I have him on Wednesdays and Fridays. So with Victor, we could get out in the yard, run around, play catch, kickball. Victor and I could take walks, do different things like that, change things up. Because I know that I have to ease into some things. And part of what I'm hoping to accomplish with all of this is that I'll have a better routine that'll happen more organically, where I'm not pushing myself to fit into some kind of routine that I think I'm supposed to have, because I've already tried that and it didn't work. I am not a morning person, but I do know that the earlier when I go to bed early and I get up early, I get more done. Unless I'm staying up really late and getting a whole bunch of things done. But then I end up exhausted and I sleep in, and then I don't get as much stuff done the next day. So there's a pace yourself kind of thing. And that's where I'm at. Let's make sure. So I think, it's just some things in moderation, and some things are better, less is more. And then other things for me, not so much. I need to get my butt in gear and do some things. And that's one of my things for self-love. One of them. Journaling, I need to get back into. I've kind of been hit or miss, but that's actually been a little bit good for me, because I'm definitely a linear journaler. I journal as I go, and I pretty much journal chronologically. But I've been able to, a little bit lately, journal outside of that. So it's been out of my comfort zone, and getting out of that has actually made me a little bit more creative in different ways. I still miss the chronological stuff, so I've been easing back into, but I got so busy. That, okay, well, I'm sorry you thought it was boring. I thought that, it would be better to change things up a little bit when I was really busy. So I journaled in other areas. I did creative stuff, and well, I'm actually married, not divorced. Used to be married to somebody else. So let's just get you out of here. You don't like to brush your teeth, but you care about them, so you brush them. Yeah. Um, I don't actually. Some of the things that I don't like doing are things like I don't like washing my face. My hair is so big, I have to pull it up to wash my face, and I wear glasses. So when I take my glasses off, I can see up close, but it gets aggravating because I'm constantly taking my glasses off, put my glasses on. I have rosacea, so I have to be careful about what I use. So I've gotten to the point where I use a makeup remover. I use Pond's, and it's really easy, and it smells decent, and I don't have any problems. And I can put it on, and I can take a Kleenex, and I can wipe it right off. I can wipe it right off. When I do that, after I do that, I get a baby wipe my face off, put moisturizer on it, and I'm done. I am really basic. If Noxzema worked for my skin, I mean, I'd use Noxzema. You don't like getting ready. You're the only. I don't mind doing. My hair is pretty easy, unless I straighten it. But the makeup thing, once you lose your reading ability, or your focus, as mine is, I haven't lost my reading ability, I've lost my focus. So if I'm sitting in front of a makeup mirror, I can see, especially if it's a magnifying one. But if I'm standing in front of the bathroom mirror, I can't see. So you can forget those eyeliner things, the little things that people do that look really pretty for some people. And I'm older, so I don't really like a lot of glittery stuff that doesn't look good on me. I have a hard enough time getting the eyeshadow on where it doesn't look too much on one side. I don't like blush. Yeah, it does get on my glasses too. I just clean my glasses. I don't like what I use for makeup when I do videos, and what I see when I put my makeup on. Like it's different. Because you've got all this, I don't know, and videos make you look 10 pounds heavier. The camera makes you look 10 pounds heavier. So then I have a little chin, so then I end up with a double chin. So makeup, that contouring stuff, you can forget it. I'm not contouring a damn thing because I don't have the patience for all that. And if how I look is that important, then I guess it's the wrong channel anyway, because my channel is not a makeup channel. So, but I do fret over it a little bit. And I've learned that my biggest issue is the rosacea. And if I concentrate on making sure that my face isn't super red, but I use healthy products, then the rest of it I don't worry about. I don't know. I look better, I think, for the most part without the glasses. But they're easier than all the contacts. You don't have time. Yeah. I don't have time for all that. I put on moisturizer and foundation and a setting powder, and then I put on blush a little bit, and then I put on a little tiny bit of bronzer. I have to be careful because otherwise with my skin coloring, I'm gonna look like a Oompa Loompa. So I have to make sure I don't get a color that has the orange in it. Otherwise I'd be looking like Trump. And I put on a little tiny bit of eyeshadow and some mascara and my red lipstick, different shades of red. Because I don't put on a lot of, as you can see, I don't put on a whole lot of, I don't wear eyeliner. What you see is my eyelashes are really long, and they're really, but they're not real thick. My daughters are really long and really thick and gorgeous. Mine used to be thicker. but you know, I don't, what is and isn't important. So I used to put on more makeup to do the videos. But I just don't bother with it now. I don't know. I'm much more natural. And I find that the older I get, the more I'm about comfortable shoes, the more I'm about comfortable clothes, the more I am about being comfortable. And as long as it makes me happy, I'm happy. And a lot of times I wear bold colors. Other than I like black and I like reds and I like blue. I like jewel tone colors, and then I like blacks. You're 50 years old and you don't put makeup on as often as you did when you were younger. You also live in Florida. It's hot and sticky. Yeah. When I lived in Florida, I wore bare minerals. And then when I moved back here, I kept bare minerals. But I found that once I started doing videos, I had to use the matte one. And that ends up looking weird on my skin. I like the regular bare minerals better, but it looks too, I don't know. And there's something in bare minerals sometimes that makes you look super white, super ghosted on camera. So I think I'm using Kat Von D's foundation right now, and her setting powder. And then the rest of my stuff, for the most parts, whatever I get in Ipsy bags that I like. Other stuff I give to my daughter that comes in the Ipsy bags. Yeah. And I use some Clinique stuff and CoverGirl and Revlon and all that kind of stuff. Whatever I like. I like neutral tones for my face, because if I wear my contacts more, I'd probably emphasize my eyes more and wear a more neutral lipstick, you know, but I don't know. I'm 51 and I don't have the complexion or the skin to wear a lot of makeup anymore, I don't think. And I see people who are in their 50s and 60s on YouTube doing really great stuff with makeup, but I don't have the time and I don't have the know-how. Light skin. I like Physicians Formula too. I'll try it again. I used it a few years ago. Actually used it 6 years ago, because that Physicians Formula is what I wore when I got married. That was the whole makeup stuff. Everything I had, for the most part, I think was Physicians Formula or Bare Minerals. I don't know. I'm at this place where I'm having technical issues, and so I'm trying to keep a lot of the other stuff down to the basics. I have ordered twice now batteries for my Lumex my Panasonic Lumex. This is one of the wrong ones, and I've got to send it back to eBay. There's some back there on the desk that I've got to go to the post office tomorrow. I've got to get some stuff mailed out anyway, but I have to return that to Amazon, because that was 2 batteries that came for the price of 1, and it doesn't matter because they don't work. They're either too wide or too thick. So finally I went with the information that was on the battery and reordered them, and hopefully come Wednesday or Thursday, I should have a new battery for that camera, because I don't care much for using this big one because it is so heavy and the autofocus. But I love the way that this looks, and the way that this is easier in some ways. But the other one's lighter, more portable. So I've been having technical issues. And every time I turn around to record with the Panasonic, it says the battery's charged. I film for the 8 minutes and whatever seconds, and then it tells me it's dead, and it cuts off. And I'm like, okay, there's no way. It just said it was fully charged, but it's not. That battery is not holding a charge. So I told my husband, I said, well, I'm going to give it one more go. And if not, I'm going to have to go to Charleston or to Columbia, and I'm going to have to take my battery out of the camera and take that and get another battery, because we don't have a place here really that I can buy them from. So one more time, I'm going to try it. 3's the charm. And then I'm sending all these batteries back tomorrow. So hopefully in a couple weeks I'll have the refund, because they weren't too bad. I think it was like $8.99 for the price of 2, and this one was like $6.99, which is still too expensive for a battery. But hey. So self-love September, and September in general, I am doing journaling, and I have pulled some stuff out of a magazine that my daughter gave me. One of the things I found was this. Oh, it's going to be backwards. What I love about me. I found that. I found some other things. This one says what we love about September. And not the watch, because I'm going to cut this, but this says don't let the numbers define you. I like that, so I'm going to be using that. And then I found this. And if my journal were big enough, I would use this whole thing, but it's not. So I'm going to take different parts of it, and then I'm going to collage it all together. Knock off batteries. It's like knock off ink cartridges for your printer. I have tried that 3 times. The first time I got them was a charm. They worked. I didn't have any problems. They were inexpensive. No issues. I tried it again. They wouldn't work. I tried it one more time. They didn't work either. I said, the hell with it. I'll just be buying Canon's version because, and I tried, yeah. So I don't buy knockoff ink cartridges anymore either because it's not worth it. I ended up spending way more money. A laser printer. I have a, yeah. My husband and my son laughed. I went to go get ink cartridges. I had an HP scanner printer all in one. And when I went to get the ink cart, my husband said, "Are you kidding me?" And my son was like, "Yeah, they're super expensive." I showed him another printer, and it was cheaper for me to buy the printer with ink cartridges than it was to buy the ink cartridges alone. So, yeah. Today's coffee chat's going to be like super rambly. I guess I should have picked a more like a topic. But what I was saying is I went to Walmart and they had hair dye. I have a Canon right now. I have an HP that is at my mom's my mom didn't have a printer and I gave her my HP. I have thought about getting an Epson, to be honest. I've thought about getting a better Canon. I haven't made up my mind. But it's just a little Canon all-in-one printer. Okay, I'll message you the model. So what I was very tempted, Hot Shots on eBay. Oh. They had this steel colored hair dye. It's like a charcoal gray, and the darker your hair was, the darker the steel gray color would be. The lighter your hair was, the lighter it would be. And I was super tempted to get that and to dye my hair. You know, Epson was great until it died. It's issues with the inkjets drying out. Oh no, I don't want inkjet issues. Yeah, not nope. I like HP printers and I like the Canon printer. I haven't had my Canon printer only has, let's get, these are what I use. I'm about to replace the ink cartridges, as a matter of fact. And then I thought, okay, I've been letting my hair grow out for how long? And if you look, you can really see. Yeah, you can see how much. And I go through this every few months. Every few months where I want to. Part of this is old color. Part of this is from the sun. Part of it's because I use a shampoo that brings out, it's that purple shampoo. But I go through that every now and again. I want to like do something different, you know. But I don't like the idea of dyeing my hair. My hair is finally healthy. There's one patch right back here that when I get it trimmed again, it's always in the very back. I need to get one of those silk pillowcases so my hair doesn't knot. But there's always that where you feel the urge to do something different, to kind of change things up. But at the same time, I like not dyeing my hair anymore. Don't beat yourself up about it because you're creative and part of your self-care is art. To push myself to get out more. Yeah, I don't get out nearly enough. I think I used to work all the time, 50, 60 hours when I was working in finance. I worked 50 to 60 something hours. You just found a channel on YouTube. I am subscribed to Heart Breathings. Yeah, I haven't checked out her website lately, but yeah, I love her channel. I need to do another My Favorite YouTube Channels video soon. I don't know. We get to this place, and I think that's part of why I'm doing Self-Love September, is that I am very tempted sometimes because so much of what I do is on social media. I could do videos where you don't really see my face. I could do a lot more of those kind of videos because I am self-conscious. I'm more of a behind the camera person than an in front of the camera person. And I wonder sometimes, what to do. I'm not very good at the vlogging style videos. One, I don't know how to edit well enough to do those justice. But one of the other things is I feel like it's being self-conscious. I can live with as long as my anxiety is not too bad. But when the anxiety rears its ugly head, then I start thinking about, well, how does my makeup look? How is my double chin? So those are things when I start thinking, well, maybe I should dye my hair. It's looking kind of orange lately. Maybe I should, I don't care about the gray. I would actually like to dye it and leave the gray, the white, but dye the rest of it. And I'm like, I can't do that. And I can't afford to pay to have somebody do it because it's like $160 on up to get that done. I'm like, oh my God, no, I'm not spending that kind of money on my hair to have somebody color it when in a few weeks you stop call center work. You're doing a bit of this and that and the other online. So you're working more hours to make the same money, but you have more freedom. Yes. But I was working really long hours, but I had really nice clothes. I made really good money. I got manicures and I could afford certain things, but at the same time, I didn't have any time for me. When you're working 60 hours a week, you don't have much time for you. On the one day off I had, which was on Sundays, I was doing all my house cleaning, all my laundry, And now I'm creative and I don't have much money, but I love my life. And so I started thinking, what is more important for me with this channel, so that I can really move forward with YouTube. And over the weekend and yesterday, I gave it a lot of thought because, like I talked about in last week's video, I want to get back on a schedule with YouTube. And right now, with having Victor more and doing more, being busier, I thought, one of the best ways I could do that is if I could do a live chat, and then I'm going to do at least one journal video every week where I do something, whether it's planning or journaling, art, something like that. And then every now and again, I'll throw in a quick video of like a journal video where I have some music and maybe a voiceover, nothing fancy. There's this Mario class. I'll have to look that up, Cheryl. I haven't heard of that one. The class I've been really wanting to take for writing is the master class. And then the art class, they're two art classes I really, really want to take, and both of those are Liz Steele classes. I want to take the foundations class, and I want to take her new watercolor class. And yeah. So maybe for Christmas, I told Mr. Rockstar I want a new perfume, and I want a class, a watercolor class or something. Yeah, it's time for me to get a new perfume. Been using the same few for a long while now. I've been using Michael Kors for, have I decided what I'm using for my planner next year? I am going to get another Hobonichi cousin. Oh, well, I hope you like it. I really wish I could. I really wish I could have done the early bird thing for a watercolor class. I got the videos and watched the stuff. I got the emails and watched the little videos. But I took my money. Yeah, I took my money and I bought Mr. Rockstar bicycle for our anniversary. That was my extra $100. So that's what I did. And I still have some bills to pay. So I'll have to wait maybe next month or the month after. I really wish I could have done it right when it was starting. Right. I really, really, really wish I could have. I love Liz Steele's work. I love her work. I watch her videos. You're signed up for the newsletter, so sends out classes every 3 months. Okay. Well, writing class. You wish you were wealthy, sign me up. Yeah, if I were wealthy, I'd do. I wouldn't have to. But I figure right now I'm at this where I'm learning. I'm going back to, it would be really good if I could take the class. I'm going back to some of the basics with watercolor, brush strokes, how you hold the brush. The different kinds of brushes and how you can use them. I'm getting better with controlling the water. I seriously wish I could take the class, but I don't have it. And I wouldn't have the money for it till the beginning of October. I don't know. Maybe I could sign up for it 2 weeks late. But I find that going back to some of the basics, like if I'm in the middle of writing a blog post right now about what I really wish I'd known about watercolor when I very first started adding color to my journal pages, when I very first started down the road of watercolor, because you have the two different groups of people. One group says, start with the cheap stuff. You don't need the expensive stuff. It's more about the paper, not about the kind of watercolor. Then you have the other people who say, no, artist grade watercolor, artist grade paper, or, so you have the two. Yeah. It's like the one angel sitting over here and a little devil sitting over here, and you got the two voices back and forth. And what I've learned is you can learn how to with praying watercolors, with any kind of watercolors. The early bird discount's not good anymore. It ended on the 31st of August. Yeah. But what I found is with praying, you could learn how to watercolor. You can learn how to control the water. You can learn how to mix colors. Now, they're not going to come up the same way that artist grades will. Ooh. They're not going to come up the same way that artist grade watercolors would come, out or mix, or how you put them down on paper. It's the same way that for me, like, I can use Word to write my novel with, but I'd have to really get into like the sections and the headings and the use, but I can open up Scrivener, and Scrivener does it all for me. Using watercolor paper, really good paper, or even cheap. I use Canson watercolor paper, and Strathmore's watercolor paper mostly, but I can use artist grade watercolor, and it's like using Scrivener, because when you use artist grade watercolor, most of it's doing some of it for you. It makes it easier. When I use something like Prang or the Artist Loft watercolors, I have to do more of the work because those colors aren't as vibrant. They're not as bold. They're chalkier, you know. But in getting back into writing, and the more I do art, the more I want to do writing, the more I want to do a book about creativity in general, not just art, but journaling creativity. It's only good for 3 days. Cool. Yeah. I'm wondering, for those people who have taken the foundations class and then take the watercolor class, which one they would recommend actually taking first. By Liz. Getting back into writing means I have less time for art. But the more art I do, the more I want to write. So it's kind of like a catch-22. The more I write, the more I need a little bit of a break in between, and the more I want to do art. So sometimes for me, it's more about balancing those kind of things, and then balancing family life, like knowing when to shut off work because I work from home, and knowing what kind of boundaries are okay boundaries to have. Because I work from home, I am a little bit more flexible. I can spend more time with Victor, but it does mess up my routine when I do that. So knowing, and so I decided that instead of questioning my boundaries, I should reevaluate where I'm spending time that is procrastinating and time that is just wasted, and go, okay, instead of doing this and this and this, I could have been doing some of this stuff, and I could have actually spent time with Victor and have it not mess up my routine. So September is going to be the month where I'm pulling it all together. It's because I have Victor 2 days a week all the time now, in the afternoons when he gets out of school. I can technically film. I could take this really big tripod and put it right on my dining room table on the other end, because he'll sit and play with Play-Doh, and I could put this on the other end of the dining room table and I could film. Only the lighting in there sucks. I could take the little contraption that has lighting, because that's how I made it, so that has a light, and I could film with it. Only my Panasonic camera's not working right now. So I just been trying to kind of figure out how to pull some things together. And then I'm like, do I really want to be filming like that when I have Victor? Because I don't get this. I usually get him about at least one night. Now that summer's over, I'll have him one night a month over a weekend. This past weekend, I had him the whole weekend from Friday afternoon until Sunday. And then I see him on Wednesdays and Fridays. So I don't, that's my goal for September, is to pull all of it back together now that Victor's in school again. And now that I'm busier and I've had a kind of a summer break from some things, I only had him really on Wednesdays. Hello. And things like that. I feel like balancing some of that has to do with forming boundaries and sticking with them, and figuring out what my boundaries are and how far, and then figuring out what will really work with a balance of some of that stuff. So that's part of what September is going to be about. You would like to have me film watercolor? Yeah. I actually do have, I'm going to put it up. It's going to be time lapse with some music of me doing the pancakes that I did when David and I went out on our date. I have that. I have that. I just haven't put it up on YouTube. I actually filmed that. It's not one of my best works, but it was fun. And I'm not aiming for perfection. When I do this stuff, I'm not aiming for my work to be perfect. Like I just did this and it was really abstract, sort of, you know, I had fun. I haven't finished this. This is today's. I need to, maybe I'll go through and do a video where I actually do a voiceover and talk about what colors I used, and it'll be more like a process. Which is why I want to take a class. I'm more of an intuitive painter. Thank you. I'm not aiming. I tried for a little while to do realistic drawing and realistic watercolors. And I soon realized that I didn't have time for anything else. I could do some of the more realistic stuff, but that detail line work kind of stuff. Thanks, Cheryl. That detail line work kind of stuff takes up so much of my time and it's not, I like doing it every now and again. I've done a typewriter. I did a window scene when it's raining. I've done a few things, and every now and again, I like to do some of that more realistic the more, it's illustrated, but it still looks kind of realistic. Yes, I didn't, but I did. I just put them in there. Some of them did, some of them didn't, because the sticky stuff doesn't really hold up. I have magnets. So the only Daniel Smith, the only two colors in here that are Daniel Smith in the Schmincke palette is the Daniel Smith, and I think this is actually, this is neutral tint, and then this is buff titanium, and all the rest of these colors are Schmincke. And then this is a mixture. And it got messed up again. And then this is a mixture of handmade paints. It has my, okay, where did the magnet go to this one? Okay, well, I've lost a magnet. This is a mixture of Daniel Smith and one Schmincke, and then handmade watercolors. Because I ordered from this one from Riverdale. I think it was Riverdale. I ordered stuff that would be a portrait palette. Yeah, I have the guitar. I got to find it. I've got to get a magnet, cut a magnet for that. And then I have this one, which is a mixture of all different kinds. So it's got Schmincke, Daniel Smith, handmade. Not very many Schmincke because I only had a couple that were duplicates from the palettes, but most of these are Daniel Smith's, and then the handmade watercolors. And I think I have one Holbein in here. And then I have the Holbein palette, which doesn't have magnets because it's plastic. And the Daniel Smith one's still, as far as I know, it's still available on wetpaintart.com. It's $75 plus shipping. If you order $100, you get free shipping. Oh, and then these are the Holbeins. And I have a few Daniel Smith in here, and I have a couple of Schminckes in here. I haven't gone through this palette yet. But this is more my primaries and my earth tones. I use this a lot for landscape stuff. actually. And I use this one more. That's going to drive me crazy. I don't know where the magnet went. How do you just lose a magnet? This is more for urban sketching because I can do landscapes with it. I have enough green with my little tiny palette that it stays with this. I can do enough of that. And then I have the portrait in here, and I can actually do landscapes because I have a cool and a warm green. Okay, you're 5 days behind on the live chat. So that's, and then this is my fun creative palette. This is the one where I do all kinds of, it has the metallics in there and the iridescent ones. And this is where I do more abstract and play around and just have fun. And when you see me most of the time do those where I put watercolor down as a base, as a background, when I put watercolor down as a background for where I'm going to be journaling, that's usually the palette that I'm using because Daniel Smith granulates and I like how it looks when it granulates. So I don't know how the heck I could just lose a magnet. You have 3 tubes of Schmincke you ordered from Jackson Art, but where did you get your colorful? This came with 12 watercolors in it, and I got it from wetpaintart.com. If they are still having the special, it was $75 for the 10 with the 12 colors in it. It is cheaper usually to buy tubes. This palette I got last year. I ended up with 2 of these because this is the 3rd year in a row that when they've done the Schmincke sets, I've gotten them. The 3rd time in a row, maybe the 3rd year, but I know it's the 3rd time because one of these was a birthday present. One of these was an anniversary present, and it came with the 12 in it. And they run about $75. Normally, this palette box was only coming with the Schmincke Academy, which is their student grade version. And the 10 alone, when you start pricing Schmincke 10s, the 10s are like range from like, they're expensive. They're expensive. You have 2 of those black palettes. I gave one of these. I had 2 of these, and I gave one of these to Bree. I actually mailed it to her and sent it to her because I had 2 of these. And she sent me a sample of some Daniel Smith purple, Garbazoil Violet or something like that. Moon Glow is the one I want. I want Moon Glow. I don't have Moon Glow, and I want Moon Glow. But I like her, I like Daniel Smith better in certain ways, but mostly I like Schmincke better. My local art store isn't even here. We don't have one. I have a little tiny Michael's, and Michael's doesn't carry any of that. The only thing they really carry is Winsor & Newton, and most of that's Cotman. They don't have very many Winsor & Newton artist grade even. So I have to order mine from online or travel an hour and 45 minutes. So I like this. It's compact, but I have actually really thought about taking this portion right here off and just using this portion because I have magnets stuck to my clipboard that I take urban sketching, and that way the palette will sit right on there. I love this. I've been waiting for years to get one of these, and I refuse to buy an empty palette If I'm going to spend $75, I want paint in it. And people are selling these empty palettes for $75, $72, 50 something dollars, 60 something dollars. I even saw one for like $100. I was like, are these crazy? Hello. So I figured this was worth spending the $75 because you got 12 half pans of Schmincke, and it's actually a really good palette. It's actually a really good mixing palette. The colors are a little bit more summery, but I love the way Schmincke's look. If I remove, no, it's not. That's why the sticky, no. Let's see. See the grooves? It doesn't bother me. I don't know why they do that. But this one is flat. But I really have thought about removing this portion, because if I remove this portion, Schmincke's are more, they're smoother. When you put the Schmincke down, it's more buttery. You don't have to use quite as much. Daniel Smith is more transparent. So it really depends on what you're using them for. If I'm using the watercolor for a background, or for something I want that's really light, where I don't like, if I were using it for abstract art, or if I were using it for something like this, these are Daniel Smith's and homemade. All these colors are Daniel Smith. But if I were using it for something where I really wanted it to be more, where I wanted it to be a little bit more opaque, where I didn't want it to be so translucent, like this is Schmincke. I'm going to do something with this. I've got some pictures, because this right here says, "You are my sunshine." So I've got some ideas for that. But with Schmincke, they're more opaque. You've been taking the silver things off the tray and using the tray as your flat surface. I haven't taken the silver things off yet. That's an idea though, because I have it over there. I just haven't done anything with it. Maybe I'll do that. I'll see if I can do that, because I don't like the grooves. Daniel Smith is more translucent, and there are a lot of colors with Daniel Smith that are also granulating. Like, I used Zoazite Genuine with this owl, and I used Payne's Gray, and I used Indigo, and then I used some of those handmade metallic colors, iridescent colors from Riverdale Watercolors. I used a few blues, but they are really, really, I mean, just, you can see it's more translucent, and you can see, but if you look really closely, let me get to, okay. If you look really closely, you can see how the watercolor kind of, it has the granulation. You can see where it pulls and puddles darker and lighter in places, and it does that. The granulating ones do that all on their own. All right, let's see what I've missed. Okay, they pop off easy. But that's what I like. I like Holbein for the same reason that I like Schmincke. I just happen to like Schmincke better. But if I had to choose, Holbein's easier for me to get than the Schmincke, and they're less expensive than the Schmincke. So which is why Schmincke for some things and Daniel Smith for other things. When I'm doing illustrate my day kind of journaling, like if I were drawing something that I wanted to look illustrated more, where I didn't want it to look translucent, where I didn't want my color to be see-through, I would use more Schmincke or more Holbein, or I'd use gouache, if that makes sense. Sennelier or buttery and smooth, probably. M. Graham are made with honey, Holbein are made with honey. I want to try M. Graham, and I would like to try the Sennelier. But then I got to this point where I'm like, you know what? What I really need to do is sit down and write all my colors down, see what I have, and then just get like a couple of tubes of colors that I already have in some of the other brands and kind of compare them to see which ones I like better. And then to get some of the colors, like I want Moonglow by Daniel Smith. I want Moonglow so bad. There are a couple other colors that I would really like to have. Shadow Violet, Moonglow. I want Schmincke's neutral tint. You know, and I need a better white gouache. I don't have I need a white gouache. Because the one I have is really crappy. It doesn't really work like gouache is supposed to. Yeah, I've heard it's incredible. I've watched videos. I love Payne's Gray and Payne's Blue Gray. Payne's Gray is probably my very, 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 very favorite color. You've not tried Holbein. Yeah, I like Holbein. Not long ago, Amazon had the 18 count of the 5mm tubes for really cheap. Really cheap. And I tried them. There was the 5mm tubes. I got 18 colors, I think. And they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous, gorgeous. I got this off of eBay for next to nothing. So the Holbein, this was only like $10. It took me 2 months to get it, but because it came from Japan. But yeah, this was only like $10. You bought some half pans off the go on Etsy. She charges $2 for regular. Oh, I haven't found one that inexpensive. The two different people that I found that you could get them from, they want a lot more than that. It's about half the price of what a tube is, and I'm not buying them anymore in the half pans. Okay, so that's where I want. There's only a few colors, and I'm gonna get tubes and not buying half pans anymore of pre-made ones, unless they come in a set like I got with the Schmincke, or you know. I need to get another bag of the little plastic half pans, and I need to get a bag of whole pans. All right. Yeah, I really need to do some comparisons. One of the things I love to do is swatch watercolors. It is very relaxing. When my anxiety gets the better of me, it's relaxing. When I want to see what I've got in my palette, how I want to rearrange some things, I'll swatch watercolor. I like putting backgrounds down when I want to journal, and I like, you know, I'll do different kinds of backgrounds, and then I'll write over. I started doing these kind of backgrounds way, way, way back with Inktense pencils. Sometimes I do actual watercolor things. But like I watercolored the pyramids and then the whole, like the scene, but it was really light. Hello. That name is killing me. But I do things like this. And a lot of times, this is what I love to use the Daniel Smith watercolors for, where you have the translucent, you know, where you have this kind of thing. These people kill me. You go like, and you do really well, and then people are, why people do stuff like that, I don't know. He just threw, my ADHD just went. So I even got like a little washi tape that has the watercolor splashes. Like, I love that. That when I did June, which was watercolor theme month, I did some flowers. Somebody sent me some Happy Mail, and the Happy Mail included this really pretty washi tape that looked like this, y'all. The washi tape looked like that. And I was like, how gorgeous is that? So I did some watercolor background with that. So next year, talking about planners, I am going to use the Hobonichi cousin. I'm going to get me another B6 size calendar. I have 2 of them that I got from Dollar Tree. So just in case I can't find the Snoopy one. And then I'm going to use the Taroko Enigma. I thought about using the Breeze, though, because it's not as thick. So that way I could put 2 of them in here and have them for different purposes. So I thought about doing that. And I'm going to continue to use the B6 with the calendar, and then the little B6 scribbles that matter. That's the only one I haven't really made up my mind about. You ordered the A6 in the weeks from Hobonichi. Now you want the A5. I have 2 A6s. I have the A6 I didn't really use. I'm not going to not use them, though. I have thought about using them to Jennifer Harris. She puts these gorgeous pictures up on Instagram of swatches of watercolor from Daniel Smith, and she usually has a few of them, and sometimes it'll be that color and then another color, and then she'll mix and she shows. And that's a really good way to learn your colors. And that's one of the things I've been thinking about doing with my A6 Hobonichi, is using the pages in it, because it doesn't need a date. It doesn't matter what date it is if I'm swatching watercolors. And since I need to learn my watercolors more and learn mixing more, and I want to start comparing more and stuff like that, that would be a really good thing to do. The only thing I'm undecided about is if Hobonichi would come out with a B6. Seriously, I don't want a B6 Slim. I want a B6 regular. But I have seriously considered just continuing with the Taroko design breezes and cutting them down to B6 and using that in conjunction with my B6 calendar for my actual to-dos. Like, I list, finally got where I'm feeling really good, and I don't feel like I have to do like so this is my to-do list for today. And this was yesterday, and there's a deer in the background, but this is this week right here. So I'm writing stuff after the fact here. I'm writing down the hardcore, the very main, like my top 3 to-dos on this. This is the A5. This is today's page. And Patreon will be getting me watercoloring this. This is my September stuff right here. That's more September stuff. More September stuff. So this is my creative bullet journal. You're so intimidated by the A5. I always use, from the moment I started doing traveler's notebooks, I was an A5. I write big. I need a lot of room. I write a lot. I write big and I write a lot. And I like having room. People were doing inserts and I couldn't find inserts. I started using notebooks. I went and instead of using inserts in my traveler's notebooks, I was using a notebook, an A5, and I used the Nanami paper 7C standard. Then I went to the Crossfield when they came out with it. And then I went from the Crossfield to the Enigma by Taroko Design. I've tried the Midori. I don't like its paper as much. I like Tomoe River paper. I like the 68 GSM for art, and I like the 52 GSM for writing. And I like doing art on the 52 GSM, but when I do stuff like this, it doesn't, I don't have it. I just like the 68 GSM better. It doesn't ripple as much though. And I like the crinkly ripply thing. So I do still like to do some art in my Hobonichi A5, but I'm all over. I have notebooks, y'all. I mean, I have notebooks, and I don't do stuff in every single one of my notebooks every single day. Like, see, I swatched some watercolors here. I did the owl here. Thank you. The deer were inspired by my Oracle cards, which like most of this is writing. But every now and again, I'll add a little bit of watercolor to my pages. I don't do it all the time because mostly this is for planning. But so I only do it when the spirit moves me, sort of. Like when I feel like I really want to add a little bit of watercolor, or I really want, that's when I'll do it. Like I did it there. You know, I did a cupcake, a little letter, you know. I did it here. This was when I did a how-to. This is sort of how I document my day. If I were actually doing document my day in the Hobonichi, this is what I do. I just don't like being limited to one page, but then there are some days when one page is all I have time for. So I have seriously considered readjusting, which is why I'm glad I have the B6. Like, okay, let's see. This is today and yesterday's stuff in my Hobonichi in the A5. But this could easily go in my Omni Journal instead of in here. And I could do something quick for the documenting my day. And do bigger illustrated stuff. And this, like I did with the pancakes, like I did, see, with the owl. This was yesterday's page. I just haven't written anything yet. This is today's page, where I do a bigger thing in this one. And I think that's where I'm headed, honestly. That's where I'm headed, is doing bigger stuff like this and documenting like a big thing in this kind of, you know, this way. I don't know what you said. This is when I got the Epica journal in, and I journaled about it, and I added the color, like some of the colors that reminded me of the journal. But this is how, like if I do, sometimes I document my day this way, which this could easily be done in the Hobonichi. Sweetie, I have no idea what you're saying, and if you're even saying something, I want to know what you're saying. But I like doing some of the bigger stuff. So I think this one might be, I'm slowly inching more and more and more towards that. And I'm using my sketchbook for practice stuff, for mixing colors and swatching and all that kind of stuff. So playing, learning, swatching. I swatched the different palettes. And then, of course, after I swatched them, I moved everything around. But this helps. This helps you. This is where I that's some art stuff for video stuff. And that was where I swatched out the new colors. And this is where I did I was learning some stuff from a video. I'm on Craftsy and I've been taking some classes. And so this is where I practice and I learn and I'm keeping up with things. And then I have the Pentalic. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to see if David will. Hello from Naples. Also, hello from Australia. Thanks. Okay, Brandy, I'm going to see if David can pop those off. Because that would be wonderful if I could just stick this back in there and put the watercolors right on this. This is the thing that came out of there. I don't like these. Putting my watercolors in these. I don't like this thing bent over. For one thing, when they bend over like that, they always lean over the lip of the pan of watercolor. I've been on here for an hour and 21 minutes, y'all. So I need to go. We got stuff we got to do. Stick a flathead screwdriver under it, and it usually pops right off. Okay. Well, I will do that. I've got a flathead screwdriver. I have a whole drawer in my desk with tools. Not to bend it? Not to bend it. Okay. I have a whole drawer of tools. And not do that. Okay, well, I'm gonna let David do it. Because what I'm wanting to do is pop this right out. That's what I'm wanting to do, is see about popping that thing right out. Because that's what's keeping it in there. So I'm gonna have to get one of the regular screwdrivers. Because I don't have regular screwdrivers in this. I have a regular hammer. Yeah, and when I tell you I have a drawer full of tools, I'm not kidding. And I actually have two of these. Yeah, I don't want to mess up my... So, I'll try that. Don't try this at home, y'all. So, I'm going to go. It's been almost an hour and 30 minutes. If y'all like these kind of coffee chats, I feel so rambly with these coffee chats, y'all. This is, yeah, I feel so rambly. And I feel bad for the people who are watching them later, which is why I'm so glad that the chat part comes up when you do these chats so people know what the heck you're talking about. But this is truly me and the ADHD brain. But I like these kind of chats. I really do like these kind of chats. I have a coffee chat to film and put together for Patreon. And I will put together the journal video of the pancakes and put some music to it. I'm trying to think of some pancakey kind of music. And I will have another video coming really soon, hopefully Friday, if I can get everything scheduled, because I don't have to pick Victor up until like 10 after, a quarter after 3. So I have plenty of time to get some stuff done if it doesn't take me forever with these camera battery crap things going on. But that's one of the reasons I've been having issues with the batteries. And this is at this really weird thing, or I could do this. It's at a weird angle. I've got to figure out something. Yeah, I just moved the tripod. What I'm going to do with this. So once they get our internet situation rectified and I can do OBS like I want to, I'll be able to do video in a video. I can just sit the laptop on my craft table to keep up with the chat portion and use the desktop to actually do the filming. Rambly is awesome. They feel more personal. Well, they're personal because as far as I'm concerned, I'm seeing these little faces right over here to the right of my screen. Some of them are faces. Some of them just have initials, but some of them are actual faces. If you have the little Google thing in your, if you have it done, I can actually see little faces. So I'm just talking to y'all's little faces, which is really cool because it works really well when the chat comes up, because then I feel like I'm actually talking to y'all, and I'm not just sitting here talking. So yeah, I'm going to go. I need some more coffee. Actually, it's time for me to get some dinner. We're going to have spinach pizza for dinner. And so it's time for me to get that in the oven because it's almost 6 o'clock here. And I'm going to see if while I make dinner, Mr. Rockstar can pull this out. And then I can put my watercolors back in there. But I will say that one of the most wonderful things I think I could have ever done for myself, for self-love, for self-care, was to start back into journaling and adding art to my journaling. I don't always add art to every single page, but it's been one of the best things I could have ever done for myself because, one, it's helped me with my anxiety. It's helped me with my depression. It is awesome therapy. 2, planning and stuff has actually helped me with my focus. It's helped with the ADHD. 3, it's helped me be more organized and more have more fun at the same time. And I found this like awesome community tribe. And I wouldn't have thought I actually am living a creative life. After taking a very, very, very long hiatus, 30 years from art and like 20 something years really from certain kinds of writing, fiction. I wrote poetry for a long time, but now I am living, I'm living my dream life. Even if I don't have my pool yet, I'm living my dream life. Now, if I could just get paid more, it would be good. But that's slow and steady. So I feel like that's a good thing. I would rather not be like a huge trend and like, I would rather, I keep saying that. And I think that's the best way to do it, is to grow slow and steady, because those people who on YouTube subscribe to you, those are the ones that are more likely to stay around. The people who subscribe to you on Patreon, when it's slow and steady, those are the people who are more likely to stay around. Which is why I try to be true to whatever I'm doing. And I'm just chronicling the creative process. And it is a work in progress, y'all. It's always a work in progress. So I just try to talk about how things are going as they go. I hope y'all have a great one. I hope you have a great week. And I will see y'all again really soon. Just bear with me till I get things a little bit more on schedule on YouTube. I will continue to do hopefully one live chat every week, hopefully, and then add like at least 1 or 2 journal kind of videos until I kind of get the hang of this new kind of routine and the schedule and get some of this damn technology stuff worked out. That's the bane of my existence, but I'm trying to remain positive. I'm trying to remain positive. Thanks, y'all. Bye.